Ever felt that gut-wrenching wave of panic just before speaking because you're worried you'll sound incompetent or out of your depth? You're not alone. To be seen as an expert and attract clients, you must show that you know what you're talking about, whether you're prepared or speaking off the cuff. The thing is, that moment just before you say something, it can be terrifying and leave you tongue-tied and anxious. I'm Nima, and for over 20 years, I've been transforming how leaders and entrepreneurs communicate so that they sound smart and seize opportunities. In this video, I reveal the real fear that triggers your anxiety around speaking, a secret that'll stop you ever worrying about it again, and 5 hacks that always make you sound smart. But first, let me show you the top 3 concerns that have tripped up the thousands of people I've interviewed and worked with, which make them come across not as smart as they really are, and how to fix them. These are the issues people I've worked with have freaked out most about. I don't know what questions they'll ask me. What if I forget? Will I sound clever? The biggest fear isn't these issues. It all comes from one giant fear. The problem is, the more you worry, the more likely it'll happen. Let me show you what I mean. This kitchen is your brain. It has all the ingredients for your success. This blender takes your thoughts, ideas and information from your brain, mixes them up and gets them ready for your mouth. Abracadabra. The juice that pours out is your words. Gunk in the blender means you get a trickle instead of a flow. It's the same when you're anxious or stressed. The body releases certain chemicals that make specific organs behave in certain ways. For example, blood flows to the center of the body, prioritizing running away. Don't do that. Salivary glands can be restricted, which is why your throat and mouth go dry. And the memory part of your brain is affected too, which is why it's so much more difficult to remember things than you actually know. The path from your brain to your mouth is blocking up. The big fear that's at the center of the other concerns is feeling you'll look like a fool. No one wants to be considered a fool. Worrying about it increases your stress and anxiety and makes things worse. Look, you know your stuff, right? You are a credible expert. Your problem is being able to access what you know quickly and calmly. So, point number 1 is the biggest fear most have is the fear of looking like a fool. Worrying about it increases the chance of you messing up. The good news is that there's a calming system that's built into you. It's in all of us. Let me show you how you can access it so you go from freaking out to sounding smart and being in full flow. Let's go. Mindfulness, breathwork, exercise. We've all heard that they're great for dealing with stress. But what if you need an instant fix? Imagine a stress-busting trick so subtle, no one even knows you're doing it. Humans and animals do it when they fall asleep. We do it when we cry, too. It taps into neurons that relax your jaw, your tongue, basically the neurocircuits that allow you to speak more clearly and even control the muscles of your face. When you're stressed, your breathing becomes shallow. What you want is the opposite. You want deep breaths to balance your oxygen and carbon dioxide levels, but not a deep breath. Here's what you do. A double inhale through your nose, followed by an exhale through your mouth, ideally. That's it. It instantly calms you down. Try it. It's the fastest, hardwired or built-in way to bring down stress in real time, according to research by Stanford University. It's called a physiological sigh. Do it 1 to 3 times to get your brain cooperating and your words flowing. It could be before you walk into a meeting, a pitch, on stage, or when you've been surprised by something and need a moment to gather yourself and access information stored in your brain. No one will know. Well, now that you've got your nerves under control and can think calmly and quickly, let me show you 5 communication hacks to captivate the right people with what you know effortlessly. What you say first is crucial. It sets the stage for how others perceive you. Start strong. You want to get attention. Share your insight, opinion, expert take on the main issue. For example, you can start sentences with, "We're here to discuss X, but the real issue is Y. We're told to believe A, but the latest research says B. The most important thing to realize is the biggest challenge facing your niche or your ideal client is this is what we get wrong." Then go on to showcase your credibility and experience. Don't shy away from challenging common beliefs and myths right at the start. So hack number 1 is start strong. Done right, it proves how smart you are by default. But how do you know what to drill down to when time is tight? Let me show you how you can know exactly what to focus on with hack number 2. Imagine you're in a room full of potential clients. What an amazing opportunity to dig around and find out what they're really worried about, want more of, will spend money on. You do this by asking questions. For example, raise your hand if you believe X, put both arms up if you want Y. It engages people, wakes them up, and they'll be listening to what you say next, so make sure it's valuable. Doing this right means you create a deeper connection with the right type of client for you, and you come across as anything but a fool. So hack number 3 is be a detective. Discover what your ideal client wants and needs. Don't decide it. And speak about it. Let me show you what else to include to get your ideal clients leaning in for more from you. Bring your points to life with examples, a case study, a client's story, something that people can feel and relate to. A next level move is weaving in the moment examples. It could be something someone said earlier or a question that was asked. You're feeding off of what's happening in the room and what people are thinking and saying right then. This really cements your credibility and makes you more memorable. If you remember the name of the person who made the point, even better. They'll make a beeline for you when the session is over. So hack number 3 is make it real with examples and in-the-moment responses. Okay, great. You figured out what's important to focus on. How can you say it in a way that's memorable? Let me show you with hack number 4. Have you ever come away from a discussion or talk feeling it was a struggle to follow what was being said? Maybe you switched off. Make it easy for people to follow what you're sharing. Do this. Group your ideas and concepts into sets of 3. For example, there are 3 benefits and list them. The 3 important things to remember are, and say them. So hack number 4 is speaking in sets of 3 feels organized and helps people follow your points. You come across as a clear, structured thinker and expert, the kind of expert clients can trust. But there's one thing that gets clients asking, where do I sign? Let me show you what this is with hack number 5. What's on the mind of your ideal client? The audience, do you know? There are clues everywhere. If you're at a conference or an event, it's the title of the event and the talks. It's the questions people ask and the things they bring up over a coffee. Shift your thinking from what you do to what's on the mind of your ideal client, sharing information that helps them deal with what's keeping them up at night. So hack number 5 is be the voice inside the head of your best type of clients and see how they line up to take the next step with you. It's tough being under the spotlight. Having interviewed over 10,000 people in the course of my career, I put together 40 lessons to help. Watch this video next.